Is this thing on? Still a little under the weather. Today's podcast, today's show is going to be about the looting and the aftermath of what's happening, the issues with diversity, which I always thought was an old wooden ship, but apparently it means something way worse and way dumber than that. But you know what's crazy? The looters and the criminals are not very diverse. See, when it comes to looting, you should have trans represented. There should be Asians, and there should be outer Mongolians as well. I just see blacks. So that means we're already behind on our diversity requirements in California for the looters. Also, the fire is not diverse. It's hot, it's red, and there's no diversity with the fires. And then, and I keep hearing people talking about, oh yeah, we need to bring in for the firefighters. You're gonna see this video I'm gonna play. There's like this lesbian butch chick. She's like, oh yeah, different communities, different ideas. Okay, there, Ellen, give me some new ideas on firefighting. Because I hang around a lot of black people. I've seen gay people on TV all the time. I've never once seen anybody come up with a brand new revolutionary way to put out a fucking fire. So what diversity of ideas to fight fire are you referring to? Eureka, I just came up with something. The tampons we were going to give boys to shove up their asses, let's just put them on the fire. Nothing. There's no diversity of ideas when it comes to fighting a fire. But I'm like super inspired. No, not that one. There's another one. What's her? Where is she at? It's like another super woke, belligerent. People used to always get on me about why I'm so anti-woke and so anti all of this weird nonsense. It's because it's not practical. In real life situations, when shit hits the fan, it won't work. It's never going to work. You can watch a movie all day long of women who are Avengers, who are beating the shit out of men 3 times their size, flipping them over, doing cartwheels and all. In real life, you will get the dog shit slapped out of you. You will cry. You will beg for a man, maybe in a uniform, maybe not, any man, to come and help you and stop whoever slapped the dog shit out you from slapping more of the said dog shit out of you also. What I'm saying is that real life and the clouds you want to live in, they don't coincide. I'm born in January. I'm a Capricorn. I'm not emotional. So when I talk about things, I talk pragmatic. I live in reality. I can't float off in the clouds with you into this imaginary world where we can just dance around with rose petals everywhere. I have to live here on Earth. I can't play the game with you. It doesn't work out. So where is this video? And I want you guys to see how hilarious this is, where this, I don't know what she is, but she's definitely talking about how in the fire department, they want diversity of ideas, which I don't understand how that's going to stop a fire. I don't get it. But actually, this one, we changed the title. It looks like we're under attack. I said this before. I say it every time it happens. But now it's becoming obvious. Friends of mine in LA, one thing about us, we don't really talk about stuff. People don't really make these kind of videos. I'm just doing it just because, fuck it. I'm not doing anything else right now. I just got done working. So I'll talk for us. She just sent me something that said that the Kenneth fire in West Hills just started, 50 acres burned, and it's quadrupled in size already in less than 2 hours. Now everyone's starting to say, you know what, Rico? All that stuff that you've been saying, maybe there's something to it. Because how are fires spontaneously starting at the same time in different locations, like they're being coordinated, but some of these places are so remote, there's really no one there So it's not a homeless encampment. And there was no other brush fires around. So how would this be a spread? So you're telling me a fire jumped 60 miles, 50 miles, 40 miles, and just started in this random area already? No, I'm not buying it. The same thing we saw happen in Hawaii a year, like last year, is happening now. And it's happening in LA. And people used to say, oh, that's not true. This whole paint your roof blue, because if there is a laser that your eye can't see, but it doesn't burn anything with the color blue because it's not in the correct spectrum, you should literally consider that. Oh, and this is that butch weirdo. But let's watch these, because honestly, I think we're under attack. You know, on the Eastern Seaboard, we were talking about drones, and then all of a sudden I started seeing at the end of that hysteria, there was a bunch of people reporting a bunch of drones around Southern California. Just random drones everywhere. They started popping up. We don't know what those drones are doing. We don't know who sent them.
Into a warfighting domain. They weaponize states through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, and more in an effort to exploit our systems and chip away at our military advantage. Directed energy weapons once peaceful arena into a warfighting domain. They have weaponized states through killer satellites, directed energy weapons, and more in an effort to exploit our systems and chip away.
What do you guys know about DEWs, direct energy weapons? I mean, if you believe in satellites, then you should easily believe in satellites that might have lasers on them that can beam down. We've all, when we were kids, had magnifying glass, and they used to go and try to burn grass and ants. Well, now we're the ants. These fires are not listen to this. This is a remote area in Southern California. Actually, this is from UC San Diego's one of their cameras. It's like, look at the smoke. There's no one around here that's physically starting that fire. So what's the source? What is igniting this dried out kimber? What's igniting it? Where is it coming from? Look at this. And that's a fucking DEI hire for sure. But think about it. This is in a city. This is not in a forest. This is in a city. This is right by Pepper. Listen, look at where this is in LA. Look, I'm about to stop the video. Pepperdine University. Do you know how close to civilization Pepperdine University is? How the hell are buildings and properties that have never been set on fire before in the past, I don't know, since they've been built 100 years, all of a sudden, because of the wind, you want to believe that magically they're just spontaneously combusting? Don't get me wrong. I live in downtown LA. The homeless blowing themselves up in these tents, huge problem. Are there a lot of people who they don't give a damn about anything, so they just want to watch the world burn because they feel like their problems should be everybody else's problem? Absolutely. Do they have the means to go out into remote locations and start massive fires that take? They don't. These are not sick. Listen, we've seen those fires on the side of the freeway from cigarettes. We've seen them from people throwing things out or having an accident and a few sparks here and there. This is something different. This is something a lot more. Let's see here. This is punishment. The trees are not burning, but the properties and the buildings are. This is war. Somebody is attacking us. See, when this happened in Hawaii, I was a little bit more skeptical, right? Let's see here. Let's take a look. Let's see here. Hawaii fires. Actually, let's play a video. Let's go. Hawaii wildfires. Let's go back. Let's take a trip down memory lane.
Apocalyptic images from Hawaii, where wildfires have killed at least 6 people in Maui County.
Look at this. Now, this was a common occurrence to happen in cities like Maui. These cities wouldn't exist. These structures have been here for decades, and this has never happened. Magically, all of a sudden, the water turns off in this area. Where does that sound like? The same thing's happening in Southern California. The water is off and the gas is on. You don't think that we're at war? You don't think somebody's doing this to you? This is a punishment. Somebody's mad about something. And again, this is something right nestled up next to the water.
Violent and explosive wildfires have torn through the island of Maui, destroying homes and businesses. The fires being fueled by a hurricane 800 miles away. It erupted so suddenly.
That doesn't even make sense. Fueled by a hurricane 800 miles away. Who the fuck measured that? Who came up with that conclusion? And why did you just run with it and no one countered you there? Like, that's the problem when you see shit on the news. There's never anyone there to counter it. Until we started making these reports and started talking on the internet like this, there's nobody around to counter the bullshit or to ask questions. How? Explain that to me. Like when someone tries to tell me, oh yeah, this and this about outer space, black holes, nebulas, the distance between her. I'm like, okay, well, how do you know any of this? Have you been? Do you know anyone that's been? Did you measure it yourself? Or are you just spitting to me third and fourth hand information that somebody who's probably a liar told you? This is, but at least we can tell the truth about what we can see for ourselves, what we can actually measure and study.
Nothing else to have foreseen. And it caught people off guard in the middle of the night when people were sleeping. So you can imagine just how terrifying those moments were overnight when we started to see those little flashpoints, the little hot spots on satellite imagery that meteorologists look at. We started to see those flare up. And that was a concern. And we immediately started to recognize that there was a problem.
Hotspots and flare-ups in cities, in someone's yard, or someone's house just spontaneously, magically combusts, and then the wind is blowing the fire around. Like, this is something else going on. And people don't want to understand there are weapons out there that can do this to people. Let's see here. Let's look it up. There's no sound, but they're picking targets. They have lasers. And they can just... Now, now you can see these lasers if you have an infrared camera. But to the human eye, it's invisible. We won't really see them unless there's a camera that's pointed and you catch it coming down. But you wouldn't see it. If it's a craft above the clouds, we won't see it. We won't know. Or if it passes by and say it takes, I don't know how long it takes for a fire to get strong, 5-10 minutes? By then, you're not even suspecting that this craft that's going 200-300 miles an hour, it's gone. You're not going to suspect it. I think we're under attack. Matter of fact, I know we're under attack. Right now in the United States, we're under attack from a lot of different places. From our own people, we have the World Economic Forum. We have China fighting with, for some reason, we're fighting with them over Taiwan. The Ukrainians are very upset that we are not going to be funding their idiotic suicide mission against Russia anymore, now that Trump's coming back into office. And they've already threatened us and said, hey, we're going to, all the refugees you guys have been bringing into the country the last few years, we're going to have our revenge. people from Iran, people from other places. They're here, and we don't know why. Sure, do we want to hope that they're all just, they got here, they're radicalized, they're on a mission, right? But someone gave them a cell phone, they had access to porn, they ate some pizza, and they're like, fuck, America's great. Why would I want to die? Why would I want to kill myself? Why would I want to do all these things? This place is fun. But there are those who believe ideologically in what they're doing, and they see America as a really big threat.
Hey, boy, climate change is crazy. You seen these wildfires happening in California?
Interesting time for wildfires to happen, wouldn't you agree?
You don't think they're wildfires?
Let me show you something.
We're at 302 Pico, and people are lighting fires. You can see they lit a fire. These guys, not all the people there, but some of those guys lit that fire. And they're actually trees caught fire.
Several people are there purposely trying to start a fire, and they're not having nowhere near the amount of success. Whoever started those fires in Palisades or in Maui or now or off of Sunset or over in West Hills now or over in the Valley, those fires, whoever started those are having massive success. These couple of smokers, if all it took was a few crackheads and some homeless people and some timber and some wind, these cities would have burned down forever ago. We deal with wildfires every year, but they're usually in remote places. It's really dry. Certain conditions are there. This is January. Irregardless of how much rain we have, we're right on the water. Typically, our climate doesn't even permit for this. We're under attack. There was another video I have too.
Call me a conspiracy theorist, but there is no way that 8 different fires starting within a period of 48 hours in LA is due to climate change. You want to tell me that insurance companies canceling people's policies in these areas over the past few months, officials cutting firefighting funding, emptying water reservoirs, and being more concerned about sending aid to another country is just coincidence? Call me a conspiracy.
People are starting to pick up on it that none of this stuff is a coincidence. But nobody wants to consider that we're under attack. I was sent this video. It doesn't matter where it's from. What matters is there's a structure on fire right here, but a blue table is not burning. I'll give you an example. Blue roofs to
Well, as RK Michael recovery continues, many are still in need of blue tarps to protect their belongings.
That's right, but tomorrow is the last day to register with the Army Corps of Engineers to get a blue tarp put on your home for free. News 13's Aaron Morgan telling us all about it.
Why would you want a blue tarp? They don't make tarps in other colors. Why would you need a blue one? It seems like the people who are at the local government level are not the ones. They know that we're at war. They know that there's another force above them, probably above our own government, who we're at odds with. And we, the people, we're just in the middle.
And joined us once again with that vital information. Hey, Kelsey, yeah, with the colder weather coming in, those blue tarps are definitely essential on your home. And tomorrow is the deadline to get that done by Army Corps of Engineers. And we've been talking about where people can get them done. And there are 6 locations where you can meet face to face.
This is from Hawaii again, as there's too many parallels.
Hey, hello, guys. Eric West here at WhiteRealEstate.org. Sometimes you feel like you're backed up against the wall. There's a lot of people in this town that feel that way right now. And you know what? We can make a difference in their life.
Maybe it's a small difference, but every difference matters right now. I'm going to put a link in the description for a program called Switch for Life. This down here is either filming or testing your quality. Shut this device down. These devices. That's good word.
Look at this whole area's wiped. What about this right here? Anybody remember this? I do.
It took PG&E about 10 hours to get into the problem that day, and the flames had just started when he got there. He saw a fallen tree on the power line. This same worker told the federal judge just last month under oath that he's not sure what caused the Dixie fire. Listen to what he told his dispatcher that day. Does he sound sure?
Or the tree that was on the line, there's a tree on the line, started a fire. And,
Tree grew into line, fell into the line.
no, it fell into the line.
And that's what started the fire?
No, that started it.
Asked what changed his mind, the worker told the judge he's reflected and that he's not an expert in what causes fires. In any event, the fire escaped. The Dixie Fire burned almost 1 million acres, including the town of Greenville and several communities around it. One firefighter died of health problems in the line of duty. It burned into 5 counties. They joined in a criminal investigation of this fire, led by the same Butte County prosecutors who convicted PG&E of 84 felony manslaughter charges just last year for the Camp Fire. The Dixie Fire started in the same canyon as that one did. In a recent interview, PG&E's CEO, Patty Poppe, downplayed the criminal investigation.
This is a forest. Why isn't the forest burnt down? Why are only the structures and where people live destroyed? All of this should be gone. None of it should still be there. Let's go back to what's happening in LA live right now. Or actually, West
Has
Hills.
moved though to this area. Adam was talking earlier about what's the name of this neighborhood. This is the Mountain View Estates, which are located sort of. I think it's the city of Calabasas, or maybe the edge of Los Angeles. It's certainly near the border. If you're familiar with the area, they're located right off the one.
What did we say yesterday on live? Calabasas is next. Calabasas is next. What about those other cities when you get out towards Magic Mountain? What about the areas off of the 14 freeway up till Palmdale, Lancaster? This is all just happening spontaneously. No, something is setting these fires, and it's not people on the ground. It is not the wind. I think we're under attack. But you can't call it terrorism because it doesn't seem like this is done for any political motivations. But it's a weird coincidence that only a few weeks ago, all of the insurance companies canceled fire. I mean, that's a huge move to do in a state, to drop all millions of people, drop their insurance. Like you knew this was about to happen, and you wanted to make sure that there was at least a 30-day window from when you dropped them till when it happened. Because I guess there's like a 2-week or 3-week period in between where they can still file claims and you'd have to honor it. This was way too abrupt. But just imagine if we were at war and there was someone out to harm us or destroy our cities and our communities and bring us down. How else would you go about it if you did not have a military behind you that could fight? Well, you would go about it guerrilla warfare. You would engage tactics like this. You know, you would hit, you would run, you would be covert, you would be discreet. We don't even know what this is going to look like when it's over. This is not going to be over tomorrow. This isn't going to be over the day after tomorrow. We don't even know how long. These fires are just getting started. And look at all the damage it's done.
One freeway.
This is war.
Up a hill, these beautiful views there. Some rather large homes, some affluent neighborhood, pretty tight-knit community. I believe it's a gated community. And that's the Mountain View Estates, which is close to where this firefight is happening right now. We are concerned as well about Hidden Hills, which is a neighborhood of Calabasas. And if this thing really takes off, you know, the next cities would be Agora Hills and Westlake Village.
Agora Hills and Hidden Hills. Do you know what that is? That's where all your favorite celebrities live. All of your Kardashians. All of the basketball players that sleep with the Kardashians. All of the comedians. All of the B movies. And that's where also all of your porn is filmed. All of your porn is filmed right there in Calabasas. In the valley. Agora Hills, Calabasas, Hidden Hills. What's another? There's another area out there, I believe, by Topanga Canyon. That's where your entertainment hub is. People live there and they come into the city, but they stay way out that way. And now look, they're all going to be losing their homes, losing all their property and their own insurance. So you're losing your money. There is no, and then this is California. We just ended lockdown a year and a half ago. The governor can destroy your business whenever he wants. Who's about to just put up new money and do new investments in California knowing it can go belly up anytime that greasy, slimy fuck just feels like it? He's a Democrat. Even the next Democrat that comes into power can just take it all away from you and will. So I don't know. I don't see reinvestment in these areas, and I don't see how they're going to rebuild anytime soon. It seems like everyone's going to continue evacuating. The spike in real estate is about to be in Austin, in Sioux Falls, Idaho, in Scottsdale, Arizona, in Paradise Valley, Arizona. Californians are disgusted with Las Vegas, so I don't see a lot of them going there anymore unless you're from the hood. Other than that, you're about to see populations leave and go somewhere that's more stable, but California is out. So prepare for prices to go up if you are in one of those cities I just named.
And all the rest that are that area. Right now, let's hope that they're able to make quick work on this thing. We have seen some successful water drops that are doing really amazing work by firefighters right now. We have not seen any major structures lost so far. And hopefully they just keep this out in the brush. And the big plume is bad air quality, but nobody loses a home and nobody gets injured. That would be the best case scenario on what we're looking at now. This is near East Topanga Fire Road, one of the streets that we're looking at here, sort of the intersection of the San Fernando Valley and the Conejo Valley. As we look at this different area, Topanga Canyon, not that far away as well.
This is called the Kenneth Fire. LAFD is the responding agency. It was reported at 3:15, so it's been going for just over 30 minutes. Initial reports of 50 acres burning south, and mandatory evacuations are in place. The north border is Ingomar and Satakoy Street, south to Burbank Boulevard and County Lane Road, city border, east to East Valley Circle Boulevard. Those are mandatory evacuations. There are evacuation warnings in place. North border, Ingomar, Satakoy Street, south to Burbank Boulevard.
Do you know how much of a perfect storm this is to fuck you over if you're a Californian? For one thing, they're talking about mandatory evacuations. For two, we have no self-defense laws. So once you evacuate, guess who's on their way to when you're heading down the road to get out of the city, guess who's on their way to your house? And I dare you to shoot one and try to defend your property, because they will call you a racist, a bigot, and they will arrest you and prosecute you to the full extent of the law. Because you got to think about it. When you're allowing crime and protecting criminals, you're really weaponizing criminals, and you're weaponizing the base of the population that the criminals are coming from. There is a pattern about who the criminals are and what they look like. So now you kind of turn that one part of the population into a weapon. If ever society comes together and realizes that that particular group in society will no longer be allowed in society, right now there's laws that are there to force integrate people. Once society gets tired of that and the right people get in power, that's over. No more victims for you. You're just gonna have to just full-time terrorize each other, which they already do. But so if you're in California, there's nothing you can do. Someone's going to, if your house survives a fire, you're going to get robbed. Excuse me. And there's no law enforcement that's coming there to arrest anybody. This is daytime. There's people looting in broad daylight. There's no police cars pulling up and asking questions. Nothing. It's not raining. Why is he wearing a hood? He's obviously there to steal. Look at this. I mean, this is a graphic, but it just shows you where we are. And this is accurate.
People who advocate affirmative action based on race.
I love PragerU, but like you said, 2021, if you didn't, you're fired. They fired all these firefighters. Not only did they fire those firefighters, but they discouraged the next generation of firefighters from those families from even wanting to become firefighters anymore. Because you just watch their uncles, their dads, and granddads get stabbed in the back and lose their pensions because they didn't want to do something that was unconstitutional and join an experiment. And then it says, oh, you're a white male in 2023? We don't want you. Literally. What does she say? This is a woman.
Your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease.
That bald bitch is an actor. She's not even a person. She's not even a real firefighter. No one, I wouldn't give a fuck. If my house is on fire, I don't give a fuck what you look like. Show up, put it out, save my cat, save my dog, save whatever you can. But I don't want you showing up with some brand new ideas on how to put out fires. What are we talking about? Watch, just finish this. This is the equivalent of watering your grass with Gatorade. That's what progressiveness is. It's bullshit.
When that somebody might understand their situation better, is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a.
What do you fucking mean he got himself in the wrong? Literally, if we're calling for help, that doesn't mean we got ourselves there. That means a situation occurred, and that's where we are. Either way, woman with a fully functioning reproductive system, you pretending to be a man is not going to make a difference. You don't have what it takes to save a man, and you turn it into a joke. Well, my rebuttal, why are you giving a rebuttal to a person that you're showing up to help anyway? That's how arrogant and idiotic these mentally ill fucks are.
Fire. You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Could you imagine an actual firefighter saying, well, your house is in the wrong condition. If I got to bring a fire hose over here to put it out, maybe you shouldn't put your house on fire. What, you dumb fucking bro? What are you talking about? That's not how it works. Unbelievable. And look at this coward.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do for her.
Look at him. Look at his little bald fucking security guard. Was that the guy from Better Call Saul?
I'm literally talking to the president right now, just specifically.
And watch him lie. Like I said, this is, if you look at the post, there's two things that this video proves. For one, your cell phone, your satellites don't exist. because there's no reason why fires on the ground should stop your service unless your service comes from towers and not from satellites. And two, Newsom is a lying piece of shit. He claims to be on the phone with the president. Turns out, because she goes a step further, I was like, well, let me hear the call. And he does what a man does when his girlfriend's like, who are you on the phone with? He's like, yes, my brother. And she's like, well, put your speakerphone on. And she says hello, and then a woman says hi. And you're like, fuck. So he just got called out in the most classic way by a woman who, she acts like a wife. She's probably someone's wife. She has kids. She looks like she's married. So let's watch what happens.
Answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times as fast.
Oh my God. You can't make this shit up. There's no way you can predict this. Dude, and you're not going to see this on, listen, I'm watching, I get a lot of my news. This is Australia. Sky News. You got to go to Safe and Effective Podcast, Club Rico Podcast, whatever, to watch these videos. But you got to go to, these are from Sky News. No one in America is going to play this because it's an embarrassment.
Why? So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements and individual assistance.
So you're calling for money to be reimbursed because you fucked over the rest of the state budget, which is massive. And so he's pretending like he's a celebrity, and I guess she's a groupie. That's what this exchange looks like. And he's pretending like she asked for an autograph, and he's like, I don't have a pen. She's like, well, here goes a pen. I don't have fingers. What? What do you mean you have fingers?
Oh, I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. Poor kids.
Who went to school and lost their home. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one building and another. Please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild.
Why is there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
It's all literally.
Is it going to be?
It has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do? To fill the hydrants. I would fill them up personally, you know that. I would fill up the hydrants myself. But
oh my God.
Do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
Governor.
Oh my God. Oh, this is rich. This is beautiful. I think it's hilarious. Not that everybody's fucked, right? I just think it's funny that people literally voted for him in a recall to keep him as the governor. We could have had Larry Elder. It would have been a little bit better. It would have been a lot better than this. But it's also funny that yesterday Trump called for Newsom to resign. And we all hope he does in California, obviously. Actually, let's see here. There's a video of Trump, Newsom resignation.
This disaster is turning into a political battle between Newsom and President-elect Trump, who is now calling for the governor to resign over the fires. It is a fight we have seen before.
He should have resigned over the lockdowns, but let's go ahead.
ABC 7 News reporter Lauren Martinez breaks down the claims. The catastrophic wildfires in Los Angeles County quickly turned political. On Wednesday, President-elect
Look the location of these fires. The houses are over here. Typically, houses are grouped together because if you're building a house and if you're not even using city services, or even if you are, you have to be close to where they're going to run the water, run the electricity. This is way away from there. What started a fire randomly right here? Something struck there, something hit there, and it wasn't lightning. It was probably a laser.
Fires in Los Angeles County quickly turned political. On Wednesday, President-elect Donald Trump blamed California Governor Gavin Newsom for decisions Trump thinks made the fires worse.
This is a true tragedy to the state of the governor, say the administration.
The President-elect initially posted on the platform Truth Social, claiming the governor refused to sign a water restoration declaration, something Newsom says does not exist. Trump apparently referred.
Actually, it does. In 2021, when they did the cloud seeding to block out the sun in California for about 2 years, millions upon millions of gallons of water hit the state. Our first tropical storms, everything was flooded every week for about a year and a half, 2 years almost. They had plans in place to dam up the LA River, which is this big open thing that takes water to the ocean, to dam it up and actually to retain the water and use it for irrigation, but also to ward off brush fires in the future by keeping access to water, millions and millions of gallons of water. And magically now our hydrants are empty, but the gas was never turned off. The same thing happened in Lahaina. Remember, there's no water coming out of the hydrants in Lahaina. And you think this isn't coordinated? Yeah.
Into debates over water flow in the Delta, claiming Northern California could send more water down south. On Wednesday morning, Governor Newsom toured the devastation in Pacific Palisades. The governor had this to say about Trump's attacks.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing.
We spoke.
Okay, so you won't respond to Trump and you won't respond to this nice lady who ran over to you and is literally just, I don't know, begging for guidance.
Governor, you got a second?
He said no. He said no. I don't have a second.
I'm here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor.
And look at him. He doesn't want to talk to her. You don't want to talk to Trump.
With Cal State.
Well, then who the fuck do you want to talk to? Oh, you want to talk to the invisible man that Karen Bass talks to. Okay.
East Bay political science professor Dan B. Lee about the timing of the back and forth remarks.
I think that wildfires and natural disasters are always going to be political because it has to do with federal funding.
No, it has something to do with local preparation. This is something that happens every year. California is no different than any other state or any other country. All countries have to worry about wildfires, all nations. The ones that we're having here, they don't have them other places because they do things to mitigate. They literally clear brush. They have, methods in place where they can water huge swaths of land, and they're also not purposely letting dry wood pile up. Also, they're not being attacked by lasers directly, so that also makes a big deal.
During Trump's first presidential term, he was also critical of California's fire management plans. And on the campaign trail, just this past October, he threatened to withhold funds over water issues.
And we'll say, yeah, if you don't do it, we're not giving you any of that fire money that we send you all the time for all the forest fires.
So what does this mean as Trump enters his second presidential term?
I think the state just needs to be prepared for not having federal funds. I think that we have to be.
I mean, they waste those federal funds anyway. The homeless problem is worse, and your forest fire problem is worse. What good is all the fucking money anyway? I don't see any good from it. Look at the different people that have lost their homes.
All right, we'll come back to this press conference in Pasadena as it warrants. But
James
no one
Wood
has been spared from this inferno, including celebrities like James Woods.
Standing in my driveway getting ready to evacuate. We've got a lot of planes going over, dropping water, but.
Now this is before he lost his home. He ended up losing his home, but guess what? He got his family out. He got his dogs out. Man, I don't know what I would do if I just lost my entire. That is just crazy.
James Woods is with me now. James, you posted a video that I watched last night. I think it's right after you posted it, coming right up to your deck. We're watching it now. I'm so sorry for everything you and all of your friends and all the residents of California are going through tonight. Do you know what's happened to your home since?
It's astonishing that what happened during this experience was that we found out that none of us is a celebrity. None of us is a poor person or a rich person, a Democrat or a Republican. We were just neighbors, just really helping each other. That one video was my neighbor.
Well, I have to do a little pushback. Now you understand that it does matter. Do you want to live around a bunch of liberals who are going to be responsible for sabotaging your city so that these types of things can happen to you? Do you understand why it matters? Now you understand why we can't coexist? The people around him voted and supported the measures that literally are burnt down his home. So because you got a bunch of liberal morons around you, you lost all your shit. I think it does matter. It always matters. Everything matters. Everything matters.
Neighbor who, after we had evacuated, before he evacuated, ran down to my house to try to stop that fire coming over my deck because he saw it from his deck. I mean, amazing. A fellow named Robert Trinkeller. It was as devastating as it was an extraordinary experience of realizing how essential good neighbors, good friends, good relatives. I've had people call me. I did a movie with Walter Goggins, a wonderful actor, years. Long text from him. Here's my address. The keys are in the car. I'm out of town. Use our house. Here's all the codes. I mean, people offering us their homes and so on. And that's my beautiful home there. Was my beautiful home. So all I know now from him, he stayed overnight, which he shouldn't have done, but he did. Fighting the fire. There was no water pressure, of course. All the fire hydrants were dead, as we now know. The fire trucks are there, but they couldn't pump water, as it turned out.
All the fire hydrants are dead. What is the purpose of having fire hydrants if you can't access water from them to fight a fire? Then is it even a fire hydrant anymore? Listen, look at these faces, because they're going to be your new neighbors. If you live in Austin, Phoenix, Scottsdale, not Phoenix, they're going to be way in the East Valley. Let's see here. Where else are us Californians? Where do we go? We don't come to Houston that often. I came here, but everybody else usually goes to Austin. I'm not a fan of Dallas. It's snowing in Dallas, and that snow is not really a Californian type of thing. I'm telling you, Idaho, Arizona, Austin, and where else is another big place for California? Oh, Tennessee. Nashville, say hello to James Wood. James Woods. He will be your new neighbor.
He fought the fire himself of his house with a bucket in the pool. And this morning texted me and said, look, I had 3 hours sleep. I just got up. The houses on either side of you are burned down. Every house across the street from you is burned down. But I can see your roof. Now, I have a wooden house with wooden beams. If you can see my roof, it may be gutted. It may be, we don't know. And all we know is that at midnight, when the trucks were there, all the fire alarms were going off in our house remotely to our phones. Sarah and I were both getting, hallway monitors on, bedroom monitors on. It was as if you could, track the fire as it was going through your house. But it could have been the smoke from the houses next door. I don't know. So it's possible. I don't.
Oh, Prudence. You're right. This did happen in Canada. Hold on. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. 2 years ago, the Canadian wildfires. 51st state to the rescue. This is 24 hours ago. Let's see here. Where's the Canadian ones? Canadian wildfires 2023.
"2023 has been declared the worst year ever for wildfires in Canada, and there's still 6 months to go. According to the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Center, more than 76,000 square kilometers of land has burned since January the 1st. That exceeds the previous record set in 1989 of more than 75,000 square kilometers. Just under 3,000 fires have been reported this year. averaging.
Oh yeah, and if you're an American listening to this, a kilometer is something that nobody knows what it means. It's just a word they make up. They don't really do measurements in Canada. Sorry.
About 26 square kilometers in size. Eureka Jerus is a communications officer at the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Center, and she joins me now. Good morning. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning, Marcia. Thanks for having me.
So given the early start to the fire season, I don't think it's going to come as a big surprise to Canadians that this is the worst fire season we have seen. What are the factors behind that?
Absolutely. So our fire season started very early this year on May 11th, which is a very early start given our very...
So May is early. So what the fuck is January? January is unheard of. And again, Canada is a very sparsely populated country with large provinces that are really empty. So let's see here. What part of Canada are they even in? Are they in Saskatchewan? Are they in Calgary? Are they in, I don't know what part of Canada they're in, but it looks heavily forested.
Dry and hot.
But using World Economic Forum language, Agenda 2030 language, like the new normal, that troubles me, and that makes me sick to hear it. But yeah, Prudence, you're right. This did happen in Canada too. It seems like whoever has control over these direct energy weapons, they have targets that they go after. But the question is, what's the connection? It's not just for insurance. Now, we know in California went communist. So all these plots of land that are now burnt to a crisp, the state's going to take them. The insurance company's not going to cover it. The state's going to come in, probably give you a small buyout, enough to relocate. They're going to take the land. Because remember, they weren't making any money off the land anyway. And then they'll put state-owned housing that they can make homeless and low-income housing, charge the government a stipend to cover the difference between how much they're going to charge for low-income people and the difference of how much it's worth. So they're going to make a profit off of that, and they're just going to take over. You know what? Matter of fact, I have a video I want you to watch, okay? And this is going to explain to you what's happening. Imagine the fires, but let's this is from the year 2020.
2020. Money into it to have it fixed up, but she might not be able to hold on to it much longer.
We're very frightened for our features.
Her tenants are protected by the city's emergency rent freeze during the pandemic, leaving her in a financial hole.
Because in April, I got zero rent. I had to pay April 2nd installment property taxes to the city or the county. And I'm not getting any rent from May on.
Venice resident Mark.
This is during the rent moratorium in California. So this is June of 2020 when we didn't have to pay rent for the first few months, but that went up to 3 years. So you don't have to pay rent, but your landlord had to pay a mortgage. How? So you lost your place and you had to give it to the city. You had to sell it to them.
Ryan Beck is in the same boat. He's owned and rented out this duplex for the past 30 years.
The city sets up the conditions for small mom and pop landlords to fail because it lets their tenants not pay their rent, and yet they don't provide any relief to the small mom and pop property owners. And I'm one of them.
And both these property owners tell me they were shocked when they heard LA City Councilman Mike Bonning say this during a teleconference last week.
I also intend on putting in another proposal in the next week or two that asks the city to look at the federal bailout or stimulus funds that we'll be getting as a result of this crisis. And hopefully the federal government will be stepping up a lot more and using some of that to either buy hotels that go belly up or use that to buy the distressed properties that are absolutely going to be on the market at cheaper prices after this crisis is over.
After this crisis is over. Now, this was because of the lockdown. And when the first few people didn't buckle, the property owners didn't buckle, they were able to make it the first few months. They extended it another 3 years, 2.5 years. What do you think they're going to do now with these properties that have burnt down, caught on fire, commercial and residential? Look, this guy is a predator. They're preying on people in distress instead of trying to find a way to help them. Remember, we're not, this is communism. not capitalism. So the way it works in communism is you have to take the means of production away by force, and then the state owns them. He's city government, but he's under the state. So just watch.
And use that as homeless and affordable housing. It's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper if we purchase stuff that is already there and move people in quickly than if we start from scratch.
When he said that, my jaw just dropped and I gasped. And it's disgusting. He sounds giddy, he sounds excited.
I was disgusted by the attitude. It's highly predatory.
The city has a unique opportunity right now to use federal funds to quickly get people who are on the streets housed.
In a Zoom interview with me, Bonin responded to the criticism. What's your response to them essentially saying you're being predatory by using this emergency to take up their properties?
This is an attempt by the city to prevent predatory behavior.
What's it? Is that a flag in his background? Is he one of the woke DEI operatives? This is 2020. Huh.
Last time when there was an economic crash, 2008, 2009, hundreds of thousands of residential units across the country were bought up by hedge funds, and as a result, lots of people got evicted.
Bonin tells me if local properties and hotels are inevitably going,
as a result, lots of people in the city to prevent predatory behavior. Last time when there was an economic crash, 2008, 2009, hundreds of thousands of residential units across the country were bought up by hedge funds, and as a result, lots of people got evicted.
What he's justifying is why they do not allow investors and hedge funds to come in and buy people's properties from them, and that they made it so that the city or the state had the first right of refusal. So instead of letting the investors prey on you, they want to prey on you instead. It's a competition.
Bonin tells me if local properties and hotels are inevitably going to go under during this crisis, the city should take advantage and house the homeless at a major discount rather than let those properties fall to venture capitalists.
Now, this is 5 years old, and the homeless population has grown, 30% since then? So what that tells you is that they're full of shit. All the properties they stole from people, all of the money they took, all of the stuff that they were supposed to be doing for the homeless, and 5 years later, this is 5 years later, we're really deep in the future. When I first saw this, I couldn't even imagine where we were going to be in 5 years. Now we're here in the future, and they were lying and full of shit the whole time.
This may be the best opportunity in a century to add significant affordable housing stuff.
The best opportunity in a century. And she's right, he is giddy about it. So imagine the boner he has knowing that he's going to be able to take all of those mansions and those $902 million lot, just for the lot alone, $2 million in the hills. They'll be able to just snatch those and do whatever they want to make money off of them, because they're not doing it for low income and for homeless, obviously. So
to the city of Los Angeles.
They better be in for the fight for lives, because we are going to fight them every tooth and nail.
Bonin tells me the rest of the city council is in favor of this proposal and they're looking to fast track it, but it will ultimately be up to Mayor Garcetti to give it the green light.
That just shows you that they're
in Los Angeles County as they battle.
That just shows you that it's the city officials and it's the state. They're working together against you. Now, how they're coordinating somebody to start these fires with these weapons, that we have to make the connections. But there's obviously a financial incentive for it.
5 other fires. Let's go to a map there showing.
There's a lot of explosions. Also, obviously, a burning car explosion caught on live TV just behind CNN.
So Ellen DeGeneres almost caught on fire.
It's
crazy.
That car, I believe that the explosion we heard at the vehicles ignite gas tank explode. 48 hours of sheer.
Oh, they haven't seen anything. Wait until they watch a Tesla blow. Once one of the casing around a lithium battery is blown, wait till they see that fire. Actually, that's what's causing some of these fires in these garages. You just don't know that that's what they have in the garage, a Tesla. and the battery went. And that's why that house seems like it's just Dante's, like just a raging. Remember the movie Backdraft? Those houses you see there, it's not just the gas from the pipes because it's not turned off, but it's also an electric car lithium battery is blowing up in that garage of that property, and you just don't know it.
Absolutely out of control. The death toll is rising. 5 people now have died.
And unbelievable jaw-dropping destruction. As reporters from around the world,
We've been driving along the Pacific Coast Highway towards Malibu. It's like a ghost town.
continue to risk it all to report from inside the inferno that turned Los Angeles into hell on earth.
And the foundation.
Let's look at some. This is now this is Altadena. This is not some far away area in the middle of the world. This is Alta fucking Dena. This is right north of Pasadena, literally, which is a rock's throw away from downtown Los Angeles. To see a city burn like this, the trees are there, but the buildings and the businesses are gone. This is a weapon being used. So this was an attack today. We got hit today. The question is, who hit us?
Emergency. You can see there, your reporter Ashley Sharp is joining us live from Altadena in Los Angeles County.
Actually, what's the latest where you're from? It looks like you're on a burnt-out movie set in Southern California. I have family in that area, and it is hustling, bustling, typically on a 4:30 afternoon here, but it looks like a ghost town.
That's right, Tony. And unfortunately, much of Altadena looks like something out of a horror movie. It's apocalyptic, and it's sad to see. It's truly devastating to know that these Los Angeles communities will never look the same again, like this beautiful city of Altadena. This street behind me, up and down, up and
Yeah, Tone. This is insane, bro. And this is our stopping grounds. You know, this is where we go out for drinks, this is where we go party. We might not go out as far out as Altadena, but all the Altadena people come party and hang out with us in downtown. So nothing's ever going to be the same. There's no way to recover from this because, well, for one, you don't have insurance. So you're not going to recover, obviously. That's one thing.
all day. Police are at the entrances really to the entire community to make sure that looters aren't coming back in here, but neighbors walking in some cases upwards of a mile to get back to their homes. We just spoke to one woman about a half hour ago who hiked back up in here, checked out her home, which was damaged, but she came back.
Look at this. This is not a brush fire. This isn't even, this is worse than arson. Everything melted. There's nothing. The only thing left are the trees. Now I know trees are made of wood, and I know that they're not necessarily, trees are not made of gasoline. But why are there so many trees standing, but everything else is gone? If this isn't a weapon attack, then I don't know what is. What would a direct energy weapon attack look like if it will not look like this? Look at this devastation. This is unbelievable.
And she found it alive. We did get video that we haven't turned around for the area, but we got some video of that cat and its carrier, of course, scared, but alive. And that's really all that she cared about in that.
This is Alta fucking Dena. All my friends, Obi and King Bay, a lot of my friends are from this area in Altadena. I'll be honest, I haven't been home in a good year. I'm scared to even call some of my friends because I don't want to hear that. I mean, I know it's just bad news, and I'm not there with them to go through it. Even though I live out in that area, and a lot of my friends are starting to evacuate barely now because they're realizing that while you're sleeping in the middle of the night, a fire can start. And yeah, you're asleep for 6 or 7 hours at night. If a fire starts 2 hours into your sleep, how are you going to even know that you got 20 minutes to get out the house? Also, this is LA. We don't have community. Where are you going to go? Most people are not going to open their doors and let you come stay with them. The question is, because of the laws you have in California, how do you get someone to leave? You open your door and you say, hey, you guys can come stay here for a few days. When a few days are up and you want them to leave and they say, well, we're not leaving. They have squatters' rights in California. They don't have to leave. You're going to have to evict those people. Listen to what I'm saying. You cannot even open the doors for your friends and family because you're taking a risk that you're going to have to evict them to get them out of your house. People are like, oh man, there's all these really nice white people, and they're telling people, hey, you want to come stay at our Airbnb for free and stay with us? We'll open our doors. Liberals, they have to be smacked into reality. In reality, the people you're letting into your property, not only will they rob you, but they won't leave. And you're going to have to evict them. This is LA. Charity doesn't work. You'll end up losing everything. I had to deal with squatters with my corporate housing company. I have to deal with them a lot, but I dealt with them a couple of times, and it's a risk. You got to get your hands dirty. But a lot of people don't have that in them. You're not going to, you open your doors and let in some strangers or even people you know, and they say we're not leaving once you let them in, and they draft up some kind of fake lease and say, look, I signed pieces of paper with her last week. She said I can come stay here. And then the lady said, I didn't sign. That's not my signature. You know what the police in California are going to say? It's a civil matter. And so look, you stay on this side of the house, you stay on this, and now your house is now their house, and you're fucked. This is not Florida. There's no Ron DeSantis here to save you and to send a SWAT team to boot out some squatters. This is California, where the homeowners and the property owners are the criminals and the victims are the squatters, and they treat them as such. Listen, look at my friends in LA. Tony, I saw you in the comments. Would you let random strangers come stay at your house for 2 days because of the fire, knowing you're risking getting creating a squatter situation at your house? Would you do it? Who's willing to do it? Nobody. You shouldn't. If you're smart, you're not going to be willing to let some of these strangers in.
Moment, as you could imagine.
Think about it. You let them across the border, but you won't let them into your house. I mean, you guys, listen, the logic is flawed all the way around.
So to set the scene for you where we are now, I'm at the Chevron gas station, like you said, Tony. It looks like something out of a movie set. If you look over to my right here, you're seeing the burnt out station. This is also a smog check station as well, so you can see shells of 2 cars that are just left behind. And so much of this is going to be a cleanup effort that hasn't even started yet, of course, and won't start because those fires.
The car insurance company is not going to pay for these losses. I don't know what people are thinking, but this is about to be a shit show like never before.
Are still at 0% containment, at least the largest ones. But what's been a relief, of course, has been over the past 2 days that we've been down here, the winds are not gusting as strongly as the first day of this fire. So that has been a help to crews and did allow for the air attack to continue on, which has helped.
Yeah, an air attack is a good word. We're under attack from the air, and the culprits are gone. It's like they wait for days where they know it's going to be strong wind to cover their tracks. And wow.
We begin now in Southern California, where the devastation is just incomprehensible. There are now 6 wildfires burning throughout.
In this video, we will take a closer look at how the California wildfires started, beginning from the Palisades region, extending through the Hollywood Hills, including the Sunset area.
Look at this gap. How does fire go from here to here, but not touching Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, this part of Santa Monica, Century City? It just went from Palisades directly to the Hollywood Hills, where, and this is adjacent to the 101 freeway, heading up to the what's that freeway over there in the valley? This is crazy.
And progressing to the Eaton, Hearst, and Lydia fires. More than 7,500.
Listen, this is all within one day. 5 just starting random. Like these are dots, like these are targets.
100 dedicated personnel are actively involved in fighting the flames. The operation has deployed 1,162 fire engines, offering ground support to suppress and control the spread of the fire. Additionally, 31 helicopters are conducting aerial water drops, supported by 6 large water tanker aircraft, to tackle the more inaccessible and high-intensity hotspots. But most importantly, we'll look at how this all started, all in the videos ahead. Let's take a closer look at the factors contributing to the fires. To be honest,
Riverside had fires too. I didn't know
even
that.
experts have been taken aback by how rapidly these extremely dangerous fires have spread. By Tuesday night, the 7th of Jan 2024, 3 massive blazes had already erupted in northern Los Angeles, with more following on Wednesday. Let's examine the largest of them.
That doesn't make they're not even connecting to each other. These are separate incidences within a certain geographical area, but they're not starting each other. I predict this is going to go west, and like I said, Thousand Oaks, Agora Hills, and I think we're going to see tomorrow there's going to be fires here in Moore Park, Simi Valley. Let's see what happens.
The Palisades fire, as mentioned, began at 10:30 a.m. local time on Tuesday, January 7, 2024. This image, captured just 15 minutes after the fire was first reported, already shows its intensity from the sky. The fire quickly ballooned throughout the afternoon, raging between the beach towns of Santa Monica and Malibu. By midnight, it had consumed nearly 3,000 acres, destroying numerous buildings and homes, so many, in fact, that officials are still struggling to determine the full extent of the damage. The cause of the fires has not yet been identified. However, what we do know is that they have been supercharged by fierce, dry winds blowing in from the northeast. These winds, known as the Santa Ana winds, accelerate as they hit the mountainous terrain around Los Angeles. This can be seen in the striking bands of pink and purple on weather maps, indicating the areas affected by these devil winds. The Santa Ana winds also drastically reduce humidity levels, drying out the land and making it more flammable. With wind speeds reaching up to 60 miles per hour, these conditions are so extreme that firefighting planes have been unable to take off. Fire chiefs
So the winds are so strong, these Santa Ana winds, and that's where and there's something we call the grapevine, and when you're in a big rig driving through the grapevine, the Santa Ana winds have a history of just blowing over entire 18-wheelers. So that's why they have to drive really slow on the side of the road so that they don't get blown over onto other cars. So yeah, I can understand that. I mean, yeah, the winds, we deal with that every year. That's nothing new. We deal with the Santa Ana winds every year. We deal with brush fires every year. Who started these? And honestly, why aren't more people talking about the fact that a direct energy weapon is a possibility? We're obviously under attack, specifically in this area. Like Hawaii, for example, it's an island. It's nowhere near the kind of mass of California. And people were thinking, okay, give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the fire did jump here and there. Fires are not jumping 60 and 70 miles and not touching anything in between and then starting somewhere else. That's not happening. That's bullshit. So look, I'm actually, I have someone else that I have to join another live, and I was going to talk for a few minutes. I'll pin the other page, and then I'll be back on, and then we'll go over some more of this, some of these topics. But I'm already about to be late. I got to do that at 8 o'clock. So I got to get some water, and then I'll be back on. So thanks for tuning in. Follow, like, subscribe, like the Safe and Effective Podcast page on Instagram if you're here, if you're watching it. And then do me a favor, because I don't have a lot of followers. I have a YouTube page that I'm barely starting to build up. If you could just go to the link in my bio and then just click subscribe. That way, when I go live about different topics all the time, daily news, kind of like a little talk radio show I do. So if you want to just get on there and listen and, we can talk about things, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm trying to get my followers up. I'm not sure how to do that. I'm new to this whole YouTube situation. So, but yeah, please, let's talk some more, and I'm going to stop the live, and I'll be back on in about an hour and a half. Thank you.